So yesterday, FDLE agents arrested 3 former Hudson High School teachers charged with an organized scheme to defraud. These teachers defrauded their students, their school, and a company offering exam-based industry certifications. These certifications are used by employers when hiring them in the agriculture sector. We arrested Robert Harrington, who was a teacher at Hudson High School for 6 years, Kate Troutman, another teacher from Hudson High School, who was there for 4 years, and Harold Martin, another teacher, who was there for 2 years. So how did we get here? Last April, Agriculture, Education Services and Technology, or AEST, as we know them as, is a subsidiary of the Florida Farm Bureau and is also the company that produces test banks, which are then provided to the Florida Department of Education. AEST received an anonymous phone call from a former Hudson High School student claiming they had cheated on AEST certification exams. To AEST's credit, they didn't wait around. They took that anonymous complaint very seriously and automatically initiated an audit of their program. A statewide audit, because they have their programs are not only in Pasco, but they're throughout the state of Florida. This audit covered the time period of July 2018 through April of 2021. Before they could even finish the audit, they received a second phone call and a text message detailing allegations of cheating by teachers at Hudson High School. When the audit was complete, it revealed several irregularities. For example, these AEST certification exams have 50 or 100 questions, and on the average statewide, they took 30 to 45 minutes to complete. This audit revealed that students at Hudson High School completed their exams much faster. Some exams were completed in less than 5 minutes. Additionally, Hudson High School had a higher pass rate than any other school in Florida. Hudson High School issued the most certificates statewide, 10 times the number of the school behind them. After the audit, FDLE was asked to investigate these irregularities by the Pasco Sheriff's Office due to the potential statewide impact of AEST being involved in schools throughout the state. It's important to know that for each successfully completed AEST exam, the scheduling teacher receives a bonus from the Florida Department of Education of either $25 or $50, depending on the exam. In addition, the Florida Department of Education paid the Pasco County School District between $400 and $800 for each certification passed to enhance their agricultural program. You should also know that the Pasco County School District purchased the AEST exams for Hudson High School over this 4-year period at a cost rate of $80,000. So before taking the tests, students had to be enrolled in the agriculture program. Students were required to take the exams without the use of any studying guides or testing materials, and proctors were required to be involved to ensure that no cheating was occurring. To teach the AEST courses, teachers were required to pass the same exams and follow the same testing procedures and protocols. So that kind of sets the stage as to how we got involved in this, what the tests are about, and how it works. So our investigation, based on all the information I just laid out, when our agents started this investigation, they found that none of the mandatory requirements were followed. So not a single proctor was used in any of these tests, and it gets better. Instead, Harold Martin, Kate Troutman, and Rob Harrington took the exams together, and they used their exams, and I'll coin it from their own mouth, as study guides to be given to their students. These guides were the exact copies of the exams. Students were also allowed to use the study guides while taking their exams. Our investigation has revealed that 284 students took exams using study guides. These teachers also recruited certain students to produce additional study guides as the students were taking the tests. The teachers would literally photograph the questions and answers with a cell phone. These photographs were then later used to produce and update the study guides, which were then passed around to the students in preparation for future tests in the AEST program. In many instances, teachers provided students with answers during exams, and one teacher actually took the exams for the students to ensure a passing grade. If it gets any worse, exceptional student education, ESE students, routinely had their exams taken for them. Often ESE students were not even aware that they were scheduled to take the exam, but yet they passed the exam. Again, as I mentioned earlier, a certified proctor was never used. The teachers were actually administering their own students' exams to increase the likelihood of passing score, which would increase their bonus for them. As a result of this crime, AEST has said they will invalidate more than 1,000 certification exams taken by the students at Hudson High School. Again, I want to give AEST a lot of credit for that. They have stepped up since day one of this, taken responsibility, and have fixed these issues. This testing fraud spanned over 4 years and resulted in a combined loss of $708,000. Of that, $36,000 went into the teachers' pockets, combined. Our investigation is still active. Obviously, we still have some more people we need to talk to. So I'm not sure I can answer all of your questions at this time, but I'm happy to give a couple questions for you if you have some. I have some answers for you. But again, I want to just reiterate this before we start that. This is plain and simple. What this was a cheating scandal, greed and cheating at the most bearish level. And the fact that these ESE students were involved in that just really, that personally offends me. And I want to, again, thank these two guys. It was a long year of looking at several records and all kinds of different documents. It took a while to get to this point, but it's worth every penny. So with that, I'll take some questions.
When you said that some of the answers were taken with the cell phone, were these then transmitted as like updated study sheets? Were those transmitted digitally, or were they printed out and handed out? Can you maybe comment about what happened once they made digital copies?
To my knowledge, they were printed out, handed out like a piece of paper, so when you go take your test, you had your answers right in front of you. Again, with no proctor.
The defendants were charged again with what?
Organized scheme to defraud.
Okay, and are they in jail at this point?
I don't know their status. They were arrested yesterday.
Okay, thank you.
One was in Arkansas and 2 were in Pasco County.
Did you find in your investigation that any other teachers or school administration were aware that this was going on?
At this point, I'd say no, but I'm going to caveat that by saying we have some additional interviews and this investigation is still ongoing.
So since it is an open investigation, you're thinking that maybe there's more people involved in this?
Potentially.
What about the students that the exams are thrown out? Are they potentially in careers that this could impact?
So that's a very good question. So that is a question and an answer, probably more suited for the AEST, the Department of Education, and these poor kids that were hired by an employer, right, in the agriculture section, that now have their certifications invalidated. That is something that I think DOE and AEST are going to have to answer for. We're here for the criminal case.
But they could lose their jobs without certification because they require certification, correct?
Yeah, they probably could. Again, that's another sad outcome of this bare bones, basic cheating scandal is what this is.
Saying AEST have been very straightforward. At the same time, is their status with the state jeopardized by this?
That I don't know. But again, I've said it several times, they were very cooperative, forthright, transparent. And the good news moving forward for everything is Pasco County Schools, AEST, they have now put in lots of internal controls. I would guess to say this will never happen again.
You said over 4 years, $708,000, $36,000 went into teachers' pockets.
Yes.
So what's the other money in that?
So the money, those $400 and $800 that the school district gets for each test that's passed, you have a short test and a long test, $400, $800. The school district gets those monies for each of those tests, over 1,026 tests. They use that money to benefit the program, buy tractors, feed for the animals, to enhance the agricultural program for the whole county.
Does the school give that money back?
That's a question for the Pasco County Schools.
Are they still employed?
I don't believe so. I think one is on administrative leave, one resigned, and I don't know about the status of the other one. But
Once these tips came in, you said the first one was from a student, was the second one also a student? And do you think any of these teachers knew that this, was snowballing not in their favor?
these teachers had no clue this was coming. The anonymous, the first one, they claimed to be a former student. It was just they didn't give their name or anything, so we don't know. We tried to track that down. The text message, the second one, another phone call, got more detail, and that's when they alleged the teachers. The first one was just a student saying, hey, I cheated. The second one was the teachers and I cheated.
Are you surprised that it went on this long? Because a lot of times, loose lips sink ships with the students. They talk. you know, and it got a couple of years down the road.
4 years, yeah, 4 years, yeah. Nothing surprises me anymore, but it's just a shame. I feel bad for the kids that feel like they've got a certification per se, and now they're in the field of their dreams, and now this could potentially be in question because 3 individuals wanted to throw some money in their pocket.
Are you certain this is limited to Hudson High School? I mean, it sounds like this investigation is, but could this be happening in other schools and other certification programs?
Well, I can say from the AEST perspective, after their audit, I'm fairly confident that there's no other school district in Florida with AEST involved because of the audit that they did rightfully, quickly, showed this complete anomaly, if you would, from Hudson High School. If you take a test in 5 minutes, to me, the average is 45. That's kind of like, okay, something's, and they, to their credit, they jumped right on it right away, didn't wait, and notified the appropriate people.
Who would you consider to be the main victim or victims in a crime like this?
I would say your taxpayer and these poor kids.
What kind of jail time are these?
I don't know. I know it's a second-degree felony. That's going to be up to Mr. Bartlett and his staff. Again, they were amazing with us. This was a very complicated case, with tons of interviews. You know, some kids, some adults, lots of documents. These guys did a fabulous job. But that I can't speak to, but Mr. Bartlett, I'm sure, will have the final say on that.
Did any students that you interviewed that took part in this really feel like they were touching something that was going to eventually blow up, and there goes your certification? And, you know, did they sound like they felt pressured to be involved, and you know, a good test score is too good to be true?
There was a few students that were recruited by these teachers that when my guys talked to them, they said that they could sense that they felt bad and that they were involved in this. They picked the right students to facilitate their scam.
Why is that?
They knew what they were doing, and these were students that I think were unsuspecting of the grand scheme of things, and here we are today. These are high school kids, you know.
So the motive would be money, and the reason I ask this is because that particular school was also under pressure to raise its graduation rate. So, but it sounds like the facts point to the direction of the motive being money.
I think at the end of the day, this was these 3 teachers saw an opportunity to make some extra money, and there was 0 protocols that were followed, and there was nothing internally to stop this, and I think they took advantage of the situation. And again, I applaud Pasco County Schools and AEST for not waiting around to fix this problem. They were by our side day one.
And just to be clear, you had said that Pasco Schools is maybe getting stricter on testing protocols. Are we seeing a change?
There's already policies and procedures in place. They've already, yes. And I think they have a press release today as well. And again, they were very, very cooperative.
Okay.